Hi, everyone. This is Lyle Johnson, your host of Moose Jaw This Week. And today we're going to talk to Lieutenant Colonel, Honorary Lieutenant Colonel Lisa Franks from 15 Wing, former Moose Javian, and get caught up on some of the things, the adventures she's been involved with. Of course, Lisa, in her life so far, has been a world champion Olympic athlete. She's a world record holder in competitions. And one of the few women engineers in the world, in Saskatchewan anyway, and she always has interesting things going on in the Moose Jaw District Sports Hall of Fame and the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame. Lisa, good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
I was just talking to you before. I don't know whether I've ever seen your hair down because when you're in uniform, you always have it up. Looks good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I had to let my hair down after a very exciting couple of days. So
yeah. Yeah, and so let's talk about what's going on. Of course, there's the incident with the Snowbirds, and you've been very much involved with that. When you came to Moose Jaw, you did a lot of good things to try and share the heart work. What was the exact? You called your phrase something you had to
yeah, it was coined "Show Your Heart."
show your heart. Yeah,
Yeah.
tell me about that. Where'd you come up with that idea?
Well, I knew so as an honorary colonel for 15 Wing Moose Jaw, my job is to be the sort of liaison between the community and the Air Force. And I know after the crash, people were asking what can they do to show their support. And so this was a good time for me to step into my role. And we wanted to make sure that we were respecting the privacy of the team and of the family and friends of Captain Casey. So it was a little challenging to come up with an idea, but basically I had this very broad idea of if we could do something that the team could see from the sky as they were returning to Moose Jaw, that would be just a really way to unite the community. So Councillor Froze from the city got right on board, and we had approval of 15 Wing to go ahead with organizing something. And over the weekend, we just got the word out that we wanted to show huge displays of hearts, anything that residents could manage to get together. We had cars formed in hearts, and we handed out sidewalk chalk so people could make huge, beautiful displays on their driveways or in the streets, wherever they could manage.
Yeah, and Waccamaw was involved with cutting a big heart down there in their lawn, down the park. Other things that you got the emergency services people made a big display for you. Of everything. And I was involved with the flag down at Central Collegiate, but it was neat because the plane came in and then came back and then went back. They went back. I'm not sure how many times they planned on going over the city, but they did. They made sure that people realized that they appreciated it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really beautiful to see it all come together. And I want to thank you for organizing the flag. We had the Canadian flag that the Saskatchewan Rough Riders brought down, and we had people set it up, and it looked really, really nice.
Thank you. A lot of people have a good time doing that. So
Yeah.
thanks for the opportunity. And I think it was well done. Let's talk a little bit more about Lisa, Honorary Colonel Lisa, and also Lisa the engineer. What's going on in your life in the last 6 months?
The last 6 months, well, I'm not a fan of winter. Getting around in a wheelchair can be a little difficult in the snow. So back in December, I had the opportunity to just go on a really large road trip, and I packed up my little SUV and basically affectionately named Marty, and it's because it reminds me of a shoebox. It's just very square, and that reminded me of Doc Martens, and then that led to Marty. So it's very, very interesting association. But I just packed up Marty and we headed south, and I went down through Washington and Oregon and then hit the Pacific coast and just drove all the way down to San Diego and showcased some of my travels on social media and had a really good response. And I was car camping in my vehicle. So that was just another really unique experience.
Yeah, and you weren't just driving along the highway going, "Oh, that's nice." The things you posted, you went parasailing, you went surfing. What other things did you do that you it's not normally people do, let alone people who have wheelchair access to it?
I did. I went paragliding 3 times. One was with a motor. Twice was just off a mountain cliff, basically, and you're just soaring for as long as you can stay in the air. I did a really nice bike ride along the beach there down in San Diego, and I was actually training for a triathlon too. That was supposed to happen in June in Saskatoon. So I broke up my wheelchair, my racing wheelchair that I haven't sat in since probably 2006. I brought that out of storage, and I was learning how to swim because I've never really done any lap swimming. And so it was, it wasn't just, just being stagnant and sitting in my car driving. I was doing a lot of activity.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that was really something. I was just going, well, and your work allowed you some time away because things are slower in the industry right now, and so they give you some time away, and that was really good thing. I know that sometimes in people's lives when they get in their 30s, they say want to just take a break and just try something else and see how the rest of the world is. And that was really when I heard you were doing it, I go, yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing a young woman like you would do.
Oh, well, I always try to have a good balance in life, and I've actually traveled a lot of the world, but with sport, you don't get to see a lot of it. You're basically, in the hotels, the airports, and the competition venue. So this was a way, especially with driving, I could stop and I could see whatever I wanted to encounter. So,
Oh yeah, and you saw lots of things because you think about the logistics of doing the parasailing and paragliding. I'm going like, yeah, well, how do you land? But that seems to be how'd you do that?
well, it was really funny because I was supposed to be going surfing one day, and then a new friend that I had met in San Diego said, I think we're gonna, not go surfing today. We're gonna drive 3 hours and go paragliding." And I said, I don't know what that is, but we showed up to this. It's basically a dried up sea called the Salton Sea, and there was an organization there called Project Airtime. And basically, this is what they do. They take people out with disabilities, and they've got this whole rig set up where they have the pilot, and they have two setups. You can either just be attached to the pilot and hanging in sort of a harness, and they also have a wheeled attachment, a trike that you could sit in, and it's also attached to the pilot. So the first time I did it, it was just in the harness. And as I was coming in and landing, we had people on the ground running, trying to catch up to us. And then as we got really close to the ground, they just scooped under my legs and kind of took my weight. So the pilot wasn't, bogged down by me. And I had to lift my legs because if I didn't lift my legs, they would hit the ground and would kind of do a face plant. So
Well, face plants are good, eh?
I like this face. I want to keep it intact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, fine. It can be like that. So, what brings you? What duties are you performing at the base this week? Because you're in
Um,
also.
Yeah, I'm staying at a suite at the base, and I'm just really being here doing whatever is asked of me. I've just been, I had a lot on the go this weekend just promoting the Show Your Heart event. So I was more in the city, letting people know and handing out chalk. And then now it's a little quieter. I'm actually starting to just package up everything that happened on the weekend and gathering up pictures. I went out with the chief of the airbase yesterday, and we drove around the city and we looked at some of the chalk art and took pictures. And it was really, really a touching moment to see her see that, because she was up in the Herc in the plane as they went over. So for her to have a close look at that was really neat. So I'm just trying to gather all this stuff, and we're going to make a book and send it to the family of Captain Casey, as well as make one for the Snowbirds team. So that's on the agenda, and then there'll be a small little private thing going on, just military, to honor Captain Casey later in the week.
Yeah. Well, good for you, and good for the community to involve with that. But yeah, I know that this is a year now that you've been the honorary colonel.
Just over a year. It was April.
Man,
Yeah.
and they're usually 3-year appointments. So you still got 2 more to deal with.
2 more. Yeah.
Lots of some kind of adventures with them, with
Yeah,
the base
absolutely.
stuff to see what's in the future for you.
I don't have many major plans. I just want to try to foster a good relationship between the community and the air base. And I know in the fall we actually brought wheelchair basketball chairs down to the base, and lots of personnel got out. It was their sports day, and we had a fun game of wheelchair basketball, and they really liked that. So we'll be doing that again, and then maybe sort of have a community involvement in things as well with that in the future. So it's really, there's no really strict guidelines on what to do with this role. It's really whatever my strength is, and I'm honestly still figuring that out.
Well, I just wanted to let people know that playing wheelchair basketball against Lisa is not necessarily an easy thing, because she gave me a wheelchair at one time, but it doesn't have the wheels at the back to stop me from flipping over. Crash! She hits me and I go flying, and she smiles and laughs. And right.
You'll be happy to know that all the wheelchairs we have now do have the anti-tip wheels on the back. It's
so
much safer now. Yeah.
Anyway, Lisa, thanks for taking time to join us today, and thank you for being a part of the organization to bring safely back home snowbirds and recognize the efforts that the team has and the agonies that the team has gone through the last while. So thank you very much for that. And we're in our last minute, so thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for doing the things you do, and good luck in the next 2 years of that. We'll be talking again over the years to make sure that we share. Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon on Moose Jaw this week.